Hey everyone, Elizabeth here. The Last Laugh delivers stories that leave you speechless. If you're here for it, hit subscribe and let's go.
Because the forensic accountant they'd paid $85,000 to expose my lies had just testified against them. Your Honor, Dr. Gerald Matthews said, adjusting his glasses nervously, in 30 years of forensic accounting, I've never been asked to falsify a report. The plaintiffs provided fabricated bank statements, photoshopped tax returns, and forged loan agreements. When I told them my findings didn't support their case, they asked me to adjust my analysis. I'm here to apologize to Ms. Chin and set the record straight. My sister Emma's face drained of color. My brother David grabbed the table edge. My parents sat frozen in the gallery. Judge Patricia Morrison, a woman with 35 years on the bench and zero tolerance for courtroom games, removed her glasses and stared at my family with controlled fury. Miss Chin, she said, turning to me, I apologize on behalf of this court. Would you like to present your rebuttal? I stood calmly. Yes, Your Honor. The court deserves the full picture. That was 15 minutes ago. Now Emma was screaming, the bailiff was approaching, and everything my family believed about me was crumbling in real time. Let me back up 6 months and explain how we got here. I'm Lily Chin, 32 years old. The disappointing middle child who never amounted to anything, at least according to my family. My sister Emma, 2 years older, runs a successful medical equipment consulting business. She drives a Tesla Model X, lives in a downtown penthouse, wears Cartier, and never stops reminding everyone she built her empire from nothing. My brother David is a corporate attorney at a mid-sized firm. Good salary, nice life, golden retriever and Christmas cards, vacations in the Maldives. My parents retired after selling their printing business and moved to a golf community where they play bridge and attend charity galas. They love talking about their successful children, plural, but when someone asks about me, the conversation gets quiet. And Lily? Oh, Lily's doing her thing, Mom would say vaguely. Still in that government job? Something like that. Very stable. The way she said stable sounded like mediocre. Here's what they knew. I worked for the government. I lived in a modest townhouse. I drove a 7-year-old Honda Civic. I shopped at Target. I rarely attended family events because I was always working. I didn't post on social media. I was, in their eyes, the safe, boring failure with nothing to show for it. Here's what they didn't know. I'm the Deputy Director of Strategic Defense Acquisitions for the Department of Homeland Security. I manage a classified portfolio worth $3.7 billion. I have top secret/SCI clearance. I've advised on national infrastructure protection for 7 years. My modest townhouse is secured federal property. My old Honda has defensive countermeasures and gets replaced every 18 months. The reason I don't talk about my work? Most of it's classified. The parts that aren't would make my family targets for foreign intelligence services. I was protecting them by staying quiet. They thought I was ashamed. The turning point came at Thanksgiving last year. Emma brought her boyfriend Marcus, a hedge fund manager she mentioned 17 times during dinner. David came with his wife Jennifer. And me, just me, always just me. So Lily, Marcus said, swirling his wine, Emma tells me you're in government work. Pentagon? State. Homeland Security. Ah. He nodded like that explained something disappointing. Important work. Not everyone's cut out for private sector pressure. Emma smiled. Lily's always been risk-averse. Safe major, safe career path. Nothing wrong with that, David added, though his tone suggested otherwise. Someone has to keep the bureaucracy running. Marcus asked, how much do those positions pay? 60? 70,000. Something like that, I said quietly. Emma laughed. Lily's private about money. I made $340,000 last year and I own it. Actually $390,000, Marcus corrected, kissing her cheek. Mom beamed. We're so proud of Emma. Building from scratch takes real courage. Thanks, Mom, Emma said. Couldn't have done it without that initial family loan. What was it, $50,000? Best investment you ever made, right? Absolutely, Dad agreed. That's what family does, invests in winners. The implication hung heavy. Later, Emma cornered me in the kitchen. If you need financial advice, Marcus knows people. Maybe he could help you build actual wealth. I'm fine, Emma. Are you though? Lily, you're 32. You live in a townhouse. You drive a 2018 car. You shop at Target. She softened her voice. I'm not judging. I'm worried. Don't you want more? I have everything I need. That's such a limiting mindset. You settled for safe and now you're stuck. He touched my arm. I love you. You're my sister. But someone needs to be honest. This path isn't leading anywhere impressive. And that's okay, not everyone needs to be impressive. But don't you at least want to try? Thanks for the advice. I'm serious. Marcus's firm is hiring administrative staff. Entry level $75,000. You'd be around success. Maybe some would rub off. Administrative staff. After 7 years managing billions in defense infrastructure, my sister wanted to get me an entry-level admin job. I'll think about it, I lied. That night, driving home in my secured federal vehicle, I made a decision. I was done protecting them from the truth. 3 months later, Grandma Rose died. She'd been a Cold War code breaker, actual classified work she never discussed. When I got my first clearance, she'd taken me to lunch and said simply, "Now you understand why some victories stay quiet." She'd always known. Her will split everything equally, Emma, David, and me. The estate was worth $2.7 million. $900,000 each. We met at the lawyer's office. Emma wore Dior. David wore his sharpest suit. I wore Nordstrom Rack. The lawyer explained the distribution. Everything was clear, documented, legal. Emma's expression shifted. I don't think this is fair. The lawyer blinked. I'm sorry. Equal thirds. With respect to Grandma's intentions, she didn't understand everyone's situations. David and I built successful careers, made smart investments. Lily has a government job. This equal split is charity, not fairness. Emma, David said quietly. No, I'm saying what we're all thinking. He turned to me. Lily, be honest, what will you do with $900,000? Put it in savings? David and I could invest it, grow it, create something meaningful. The will is legally binding, the lawyer said firmly. I'm saying maybe we should contest it. Grandma wasn't properly informed about everyone's financial competence. I sat very still. You want to contest Grandma's will because you don't think I deserve an equal share. The money would be better utilized by people who understand money. She pulled out her phone. I've already spoken with an attorney. We have grounds. David shifted. Emma, maybe. Should we let $600,000 go to waste? She stood. I'm filing a challenge. David, you're either with me or you're not. He looked at me. Looked at Emma. I think we should explore our options. Of course he did. I stood slowly. If that's what you want, do it. Lily. Contest it. Hire your attorneys. I'll see you in court. As I left, I heard Emma tell the lawyer, we'll need complete financial discovery. I want to see exactly what she has. I'm betting it'll prove our point. 2 weeks later, the lawsuit arrived. Emma and David versus Lily Chin contest of estate distribution. Their argument. Grandma Rose had diminished capacity and was unduly influenced to create an inequitable distribution that didn't reflect the financial sophistication and demonstrated capability of her grandchildren. Translation, they wanted to prove I was too incompetent to deserve my inheritance. They filed for complete financial discovery, 10 years of tax returns, bank statements, investment records, employment history, everything. Emma texted, nothing personal. Just business. The forensic accountant will find everything. I called my attorney, Catherine Pierce, who specialized in privacy protection for federal employees. Can they force this discovery? I asked. In a probate contest, yes. Financial competency is relevant. She paused. How much can we disclose? Almost none. Most of my portfolio is classified. My real salary is classified. My property status is classified. That complicates things. If I provide what they're asking, I reveal classified information. If I don't, they win by default. We'll be strategic. We'll provide your base GS-14 salary, public record. Show the townhouse. Give enough to satisfy discovery without revealing what matters. So we filed my response. Tax returns showing $98,000 salary. Townhouse mortgage records. Honda Civic registration. Small investment account with $47,000. Student loans paid off 2 years ago. On paper, I looked exactly like what they thought. A mid-level government employee living modestly. Emma's attorney must have been thrilled. The hearing was April 15th. Judge Patricia Morrison presiding. I arrived at 8:45 a.m. in a navy and tailor suit, simple briefcase, looking exactly like what I was supposed to be. Emma and David were already there with our parents. Emma wore Chanel. David wore Hugo Boss. Their attorney, Robert Hutchins, had brought Dr. Gerald Matthews, forensic accountant, whose credentials were displayed on a poster board. Emma smiled victoriously. Lily. Ready to be reasonable? Keep $300,000, we split the rest. The judge doesn't need to see how badly you've managed money. I'll see you inside. Judge Morrison's courtroom was exactly what you'd expect. Wood paneling, high ceilings, American flag. This is Chin and Chin versus Chin, Judge Morrison began. Mr. Hutchins, you're representing the plaintiffs? Yes, Your Honor. This is straightforward. Our clients are challenging a distribution that unfairly benefits a family member lacking financial sophistication. We have compelling evidence of financial mismanagement. Catherine stood. Your Honor, this is successful siblings bullying their sister out of her rightful inheritance because they're greedy. The will is clear and legal. Let's proceed. Mr. Hutchins, call your first witness. Dr. Gerald Matthews, forensic accountant. Dr. Matthews was good. He walked through my financial records with laser-pointer precision. Ms. Chin earns $98,000 annually. Mortgage of $1,850 monthly on a townhouse valued at $340,000. Drives a 2018 vehicle worth $12,000. Investment portfolio contains $47,000 in basic index funds. No diversification, no sophistication. He clicked to the next slide. No business interests. No additional income streams. No real estate investments. Savings account, $8,200. Student loans took 12 years to pay off. Fundamental lack of understanding about financial leverage. Emma nodded along. In summary, Ms. Lily Chin demonstrates financial passivity, risk avoidance, and zero investment acumen. Giving her $900,000 would be like giving a teenager a Ferrari. The money would be wasted. Thank you, Hutchins said. The evidence speaks for itself. Catherine stood for cross-examination. Just one question. Dr. Matthews, did the plaintiffs ask you to analyze their finances with the same scrutiny? He hesitated. That wasn't within scope. So you were hired specifically to find problems with Ms. Chen's finances? I was hired to assess the defendant's financial competency. For $85,000? Yes. Paid by the plaintiffs? Yes. No further questions. Emma testified next, tears at perfect moments. She's never shown interest in building wealth. She's content with her little life. Grandma didn't realize how far Lily had fallen behind. Objection. Characterization, Catherine said. Sustained. I'm sorry, Your Honor. Lily has no business experience, no investment experience. I've built a $2 million business. David's a successful attorney. We're equipped to honor Grandma's legacy by growing her estate. David testified similarly. Lily's lovely. Lily's kind. Just not financially sophisticated. Then Catherine called me to the stand. Ms. Chin, you've heard the testimony. The plaintiffs claim you lack financial sophistication. Do you agree? No. Why? Because they're looking at incomplete information. Hutchins jumped up. Your Honor, we've been given complete discovery. Miss Pierce. Judge Morrison looked at Catherine. Your Honor, my client's employment involves classified national security work. She provided everything that could be disclosed without compromising federal security. But there's additional context. Such as the modest townhouse, being federally secured property. The old car, being a secured vehicle replaced regularly. And the basic government job, being a senior executive position managing billions in classified contracts. The courtroom went silent. Emma's confident expression crumbled. Miss Chin, is this accurate? Judge Morrison asked. Yes, Your Honor. Elaborate. I'm the Deputy Director of Strategic Defense Acquisitions for Homeland Security. I manage a classified portfolio worth $3.7 billion. I have top secret/SCI clearance. I've held this position 7 years. My actual salary, property details, and most professional work cannot be disclosed without compromising national security. Pin drop silence. Your Honor, Hutchins sputtered, we had no indication. Because it's classified, Catherine said calmly. She handed documents to the bailiff. Miss Chen's federal ID. Security clearance documentation, redacted but authenticated. A letter from Homeland Security confirming her position. Verification from the Office of Personnel Management. Judge Morrison reviewed carefully. Emma stared at me like I'd grown a second head. Miss Chen, why didn't you disclose this earlier? Because my family didn't need to know, Your Honor. My work involves sensitive national security. The fewer people who know details, the safer everyone is, including them. I looked at Emma. I let them think I was unsuccessful because it was easier than explaining why I couldn't discuss my work. I let them believe I was the failure because it meant they weren't targets. Targets for what? Emma whispered. Foreign intelligence services. Hostile actors. Anyone who'd want leverage over someone with my access. I turned back to the judge. I live quietly because loud is dangerous in my line of work. Judge Morrison set down the documents. Mr. Hutchins, your entire case is predicated on financial incompetence. Does this change your position? He looked at Dr. Matthews, at Emma, at his notes. Your Honor, we'd like to request a continuance. Denied. You had full opportunity for discovery. She looked at Emma. Did you know about your sister's actual position? Emma shook her head. Did you ever ask? She never said. Did you ask? No. So you assumed. You assumed she was unsuccessful because she didn't broadcast success. You assumed she was incompetent because she lived modestly. Judge Morrison's voice was ice. And based on those assumptions, you hired a forensic accountant for $85,000 to prove she didn't deserve her inheritance. Your Honor, I didn't know. That's the problem. You didn't know because you didn't care to know. The judge turned to Dr. Matthews. Dr. Matthews, did the plaintiffs provide complete information when they hired you? He shifted uncomfortably. They provided what they represented as complete records. Did you notice anything unusual? Yes. The mortgage was through a federal credit union I'd never encountered. The vehicle registration had unusual documentation. Employment records were vague about responsibilities. He paused. When I asked about these items, they told me it was just government bureaucracy. So you had questions but wrote the report anyway? His face reddened. I was hired to assess based on information provided. And when the plaintiffs asked you to adjust your findings, what did you say? The courtroom erupted. Dr. Matthews went pale. I don't. Dr. Matthews, you're under oath. Did the plaintiffs ask you to modify your report? He looked at Emma, at Hutchins, at his hands. Yes, Your Honor. Emma grabbed David's arm. David closed his eyes. What did they ask you to do? Remove caveats about incomplete information. Strengthen language about incompetence. They provided additional documentation they said I'd missed. What documentation? Bank statements showing large cash withdrawals. Loan applications showing debt. Credit card statements showing excessive spending. He pulled out his briefcase with shaking hands. I told them I couldn't verify any of it. Account numbers didn't match. Formats were wrong. When I ran them through authenticity software, they were flagged as manipulated. Catherine was on her feet. Your Honor, the plaintiffs provided fabricated evidence? They provided documents I couldn't authenticate, and when I refused to include them, they became insistent. Judge Morrison's face was stone. Mr. Hutchins, did you know about this? Your Honor, my clients provided documentation they believed genuine. Did you verify it? I trusted my clients. That's not what I asked. Did you, as an officer of this court, verify evidence authenticity before submitting it? Hutchins said nothing. Bailiff, I want copies of all plaintiff documents analyzed by a court-appointed expert. She looked at Emma and David. And I want both plaintiffs to explain, under oath, where those documents came from. Emma started crying, real crying. David stood. Your Honor, I'd like to request. Sit down, Mr. Chin. You're an attorney. You know better. Her voice could cut glass. You knowingly participated in fraudulent lawsuit against your own sister to steal her inheritance. My mother made a small sound from the gallery. Ms. Emma Chin approached the witness stand. Emma stood on shaking legs. Where did you obtain the bank statements, loan applications and credit card statements you provided to Dr. Matthews? Marcus helped us. Marcus? My boyfriend. He works in finance. He said he could make documents showing how irresponsible Lily was. He said it was just filling in gaps. Filling gaps with fabricated evidence. Emma's voice broke. I thought it was making things clearer. I didn't think it was illegal. I just wanted what was fair. You wanted to prove your sister was incompetent so you could take her money. When reality didn't support that, you manufactured evidence. Judge Morrison looked at Catherine. Ms. Pierce, does your client wish to press charges? Catherine looked at me. I stood slowly. Your Honor, may I speak? Go ahead. I looked at my sister, my brother, my parents in the gallery. I don't want to press charges. I don't want them in legal trouble. I just want this to end. I took a breath. But I want them to understand something. You thought I was a failure because I didn't perform success your way. You thought I was incompetent because I didn't brag. You thought I needed help because I didn't ask for your approval. I pulled out my briefcase. Your Honor, with permission, I'd like to submit my actual financial portfolio. Not classified parts. I still can't disclose those, but the personal investments and assets I've built. Proceed. I handed Catherine a folder. She distributed copies. That's my complete investment portfolio. $2.3 million in diversified holdings. Real estate investments in 3 states. Retirement account worth $890,000. Zero debt. Savings account with $340,000. Not $8,200. Emma stared at the papers like they were alien. The documents you saw were my basic government records. Everything I'm allowed to show without special clearance. This is what I built privately while you assumed I didn't know how money works. I turned to Judge Morrison. I don't want their money. I don't need it. I want the $900,000 from Grandma Rose because she left it to me, and I'll honor her memory by using it well. But I don't need their permission to be successful. I never did. The judge reviewed my portfolio. Her expression shifted, something like respect. Miss Pierce, what are you requesting? Dismissal with prejudice. Award of attorney's fees. Sanctions against plaintiffs for filing fraudulent documentation. Judge Morrison didn't hesitate. The contest is dismissed with prejudice. The original will stands. Ms. Lily Chin receives her full $900,000 inheritance. She looked at Emma and David. As for sanctions, the plaintiffs knowingly submitted fabricated evidence to defraud this court and their sister. Mr. David Chin, as a licensed attorney, you should be ashamed. I'm referring this to the State Bar for disciplinary review. David's face went white. Additionally, I'm awarding Ms. Lily Chin $520,000 in sanctions and legal fees, to be paid jointly by the plaintiffs within 90 days. If payment isn't received, I'll authorize liens and wage garnishments. Emma started screaming. This is insane. He's lying. Everyone's lying. Judge Morrison banged her gavel 3 times. Ms. Emma Chin, control yourself or I'll hold you in contempt. Bailiff, one more outburst and she's removed. My father stood in the gallery. Your Honor, my daughters are both good people. Sir, sit down or you'll join them in contempt. Her voice was absolute zero. Your daughters attempted fraud. There's no misunderstanding. He turned back to Emma and David. You have 30 days to appeal, though I'd strongly advise against it. Any appeal triggers deeper investigation into your fabricated documents, and I suspect you don't want FBI involvement. Understood. They both nodded. This hearing is adjourned. The gavel came down with finality. In the hallway, my family stood clustered. Emma still crying. David looking sick. My parents lost. I walked past toward the exit. Lily. My mother's voice stopped me. Lily, please. I turned. We didn't know. About your job. Your success. You never said. You never asked, Mom. In 10 years, you never once asked beyond, still in that government job? You never asked if I was happy. You just assumed I was the failure and treated me accordingly. We didn't. You did. Every Christmas, every birthday, every dinner. The jokes about my car. The suggestions about real careers. The concerned looks. I felt tears burning but didn't let them fall. I protected you. I stayed quiet because knowing the truth would make you targets. And you repaid me by trying to steal my inheritance because you thought I wasn't capable. Emma stepped forward. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was jealous and stupid. You hired a forensic accountant to prove I was incompetent. You fabricated evidence. You took me to court. I looked at her directly. You're not sorry you did it. You're sorry you got caught. That's not fair. Fair? You sued me, and when that didn't work, you tried to frame me using fake documents. You're only sorry the judge found out. David found his voice. Lily, my career, the Bar Association, should have thought of that before committing fraud against your own sister. I adjusted my briefcase. You're an attorney, David. You knew exactly what you were doing. My father looked broken. What happens now? Now you pay me $520,000 in 90 days. I take my $900,000 inheritance. And we're done. Done. Mom whispered. Done. No more family dinners comparing me to Emma. No more concerned conversations about my little life. No more assumptions about who I am based on what you think you see. I took a breath. I'm not the failure you decided I was. I never was. But I'm done proving that to people who only see what they want. We're your family, Emma said desperately. Family doesn't do what you did. Family doesn't fabricate evidence to steal from each other. I looked at all of them. Grandma Rose knew who I was. She respected quiet work, classified victories, success that doesn't need an audience. She left me that money because she understood something you never did. Real strength doesn't require applause. I walked toward the exit. Behind me, Emma said to Mom, we could apologize. Make this right. I didn't hear the response because I was already outside, breathing cool April air, feeling lighter than I had in years. Catherine met me on the courthouse steps. That was impressive. Thanks for everything. What will you do with the money? I smiled. Grandma Rose always wanted to endow a scholarship for women in STEM and government service. I think $1.4 million would be a nice start. Catherine laughed. She'd be proud. I know. 2 weeks later, all $520,000 arrived, paid from Emma and David's accounts. The $900,000 inheritance came through probate. I established the Rose Chin Memorial Scholarship for Women in National Service. Full-ride scholarships for women pursuing careers in defense, intelligence, homeland security, and classified government work. I never heard from Emma again. David sent one email apologizing and asking forgiveness. I never responded. My parents tried 3 times to reconcile. Each time, when you're ready to know who I actually am instead of who you assumed I was, we can talk. They haven't called back yet. But that's okay. Some victories are quiet. Some success doesn't need an audience. And some families need to learn that assumptions are expensive, respect is earned, and the people you underestimate are often the ones with the most power. Judge Morrison was right. They didn't know because they didn't care to know. And that's not my problem to fix anymore.